No, I just go.
Oh, it's me. It's Audie. It's Thursday.
I have no idea what it is.
The 20.
No, it's Wednesday.
No, it's Wednesday, the 28th of
Yeah.
June.
Uh-huh.
We're in the something of cancer and
Right.
let's see. We're sitting outside of Hijackers or
No.
Snack Jack.
Snack
But,
Jack.
Hijackers is
the
at
other
the
one,
airport.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
they're owned by the same people. I don't know if you know
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So anyway, we're here talking about.
We got an ocean view.
We have We have a beautiful ocean view. We have beautiful people from who knows Arkansas and
They don't look like they're from Arkansas.
I don't know Maine.
Yeah, they look like they're from Maine.
Wisconsin, maybe.
Yeah, it could be Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, yeah. No, I got Wisconsin at my table here. But anywho.
I don't look like I'm from Wisconsin.
No, you don't. But I know that you are. So.
Okay,
All right.
dude. So tell me about how you find joy in your life.
Okay. When I asked you if you had a set of questions or whatever, and you said there was only one question, I was kind of relieved. But then I realized that's almost like a loaded question.
Oh, okay.
And I went from saying, "Oh, this is going to be easy," to now I really got to think. Thank you. We just were served wine.
This is the most fun one that I've done yet.
Good. Becky, how's your beer?
It's good. It's good. It's getting
Okay,
there.
it's a local beer.
It's a local beer. You got to tell them that.
Absolutely.
Who we're talking to, I don't know.
It doesn't matter. Whoever hears this, we're still alive and drinking beer and wine. So anyway, one of the first thoughts that I had was, am I currently experiencing joy? And my answer was no, I'm not, for many reasons. And then I thought about, when was the last time I felt joyful? And it's been a long time. It's really been a long time since I've actually felt uninhibited to express joy, to be an example of joy. I pretty much think that I have a positive attitude, but that's not to be confused with the experience of joy. Mm-hmm. So being the Christian student of the Bible that I am, I started looking up all the scriptures that had the word joy in it.
Okay.
And I was going to print it out and bring it, and but when you called, it wasn't ready.
Okay.
So I didn't bring it, but I found almost 100 scriptures that have the word joy, and I think one of the most famous ones is "Joy to the World."
Right.
Everybody knows "Joy to the World," and another one was that joy comes in the morning. That's one that a lot of people may not know, but it's about someone who was going through a distressed point in their life, but yet was getting help, was getting advisors, being told that, hey, it's going to be all right, and that the joy, you go to sleep tonight, and the joy is going to come in the morning. So to me, those scriptures were kind of reminding me of all of the circumstances that people can be in to experience joy. You can have joy because you just had a child, but before you had the child, you had a lot of pain.
Right.
I would assume. I've never had a baby myself, but I'm going to say that most people, or women, 99% of them, go through excruciating, labor pains, and some I know that said, hey, they just popped out.
Right.
It's like, okay, so she's experiencing joy because it was easy, and then the results of the pregnancy. But since, how do I find joy? When I do things for people that I know is going to make a difference in their life, is just a part of what they're going through.
Right.
So I don't have to be the solution, but if I see that I've contributed something and the results, regardless of it was the next day or a month or a year from now, but what I had contributed added to that person's life, I find a lot of joy in that. Yeah. I can't muster up joy because it has to be has to come from a place that there was a need. Would I like to be joyful all the time?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
Then people would think I was on drugs. And that would not be a good thing to exude. Why is that guy always so happy?
So are you saying that being joyful all the time is not a good thing?
It's not a good thing for the people around you, because how come this guy is joyful all the time, or why is he always happy? And we know that most people know that you can't always be happy.
Right.
But there's a few of us out there. It depends on.
But think about like the Dalai Lama or something. People love the Dalai Lama.
Yeah.
And nobody's like going, damn. Yeah, who does he think he is? Dalai Lama, damn it.
Well, people did actually say, who did he think
yeah, I
he
guess it's
is?
true. The Chinese kicked it out. Yeah.
There you go. Exactly.
So, yeah.
And so.
But what about Jesus? Was Jesus in a state of joy?
Jesus was on a mission. I don't. Jesus was on a mission. I don't think that he experienced joy the way that you and I did. I know that his satisfaction came when he gave examples of turning water into wine. People were joyful because they got to drink wine.
Right.
That's why they call it spirits. When a blind person going from a blind position being able to see now, I'm sure he got some joy out of it, but the joy came because those people who had a need believed that it could happen. So Jesus said, hey, you just have to have the faith of a mustard seed and your whole life can change. And people think of a mustard seed as this little, quarter of an inch piece of nothing, and it's like, it doesn't make sense rationally how having faith that small could turn out such great results.
Right.
And other examples in the Bible are, there was a guy that was blind. He was blind from birth. Everybody in town knew that he was blind. He came across Jesus. He heard about Jesus, that Jesus can do miracles. So he said, I've been blind all my life. And he said, well, do you believe that you can see again? And he said, yes. Jesus went down, took some dirt, spat on it, put it on his eyes, cleaned it away. The guy was able to see. The guy went around town and everybody was joyful because the person that they knew was blind.
Right.
They did all kinds of tricks on him and, would move his chair when to sit down and he'd fall down. They would laugh. And so he became a beggar because he couldn't work. So he was just begging on the street all his life. So I'm sure there was a moment of joy there for Jesus.
Okay, so I see joy, and you tell me what you think of this. I see that joy and suffering kind of like yin and yang. Mm-hmm. So they're like sisters, right? That you can't have
one without the
joy
other.
Without suffering, and vice versa. Jesus suffered, yes?
Eventually, yes.
Yeah.
And then the ultimate suffering.
Right. And so was his life so ecstasy was not his life. No. He was like you said, he's focused, he's on a mission, and and then he suffers, and then he's reborn.
Well, he was resurrected is the word.
Yeah.
He wasn't reborn, he was resurrected from the dead.
Okay.
So, and the joy in that is that old Hebrew scholars had predicted that someone would come, would be put to death, and then would be the savior of the world.
Right.
And what Jesus did for the people that were of that mindset, when he came back 3 days later, it was proof that death, he overcame death. And again, I can go into all the intricacies of how you get to that point, but just to put it simply, the thing was that someone was going to be the king of the Jews, and they thought it was going to be him. And people's impressions of a king is someone who's tall and bold and strong and going to set things right. But here, Jesus was this humble guy who preached love and kindness, the kingdom of God, and to don't worry about living in this world because this world is temporary. And when we die and leave this world, and we believed in the prophecy of Jesus coming into play, you have a guaranteed place in heaven.
Yeah.
So, and that gives a lot of people hope that you know what, they're going to do the best that they can now. We get old, we get sick, we get depressed, we get whatever. But if we focus on the fact that it's not about us to change the world, it's about us to contribute to the world, to people who have less than us. Because you don't go to someone who's happy and rich and whatever and say, hey, what can I do for you today?
Right.
No, because they're already there. But someone who's hungry, someone who doesn't have shoes to put on, someone who can't, see the doctor or go to the dentist. And if you find out about those things and you contribute to that, what you're doing is doing what God would do if he were here on earth.
Right.
But he didn't come to do all the work for us. What he did was the hard part, dying on the cross.
Yeah.
The easy part, supposedly, was to make disciples or to, teach a person to fish. They will never go hungry.
Right.
But if you keep handing over, they're going to be like cats.
Yep.
Okay, when's my next meal? I don't have to work for it. And so
what is the role of joy in our existence? Why
the role of joy?
Yeah.
Is to know that we're alive. That we're alive and that everything can't be hunky-dory. And it's like saying I want to live in a rainless society. Because when it rains, I get depressed. And I don't want to get depressed, So, yeah, I would like that too.
Yeah.
But since we don't live in that kind of world, then we've got to take the world for what it shows itself.
For all kinds of weather.
For all kinds of weather. And what do? You put on galoshes. Ooh, I can't believe I used that word. Galoshes. Rain boots. You can have an umbrella, a rain jacket, a cap, whatever. You make adjustments and you go on with your day. If the weather gets too crazy, then you decide whether you want to, or postpone stuff. It's all about attitude that feeds into joy. Because if I have a negative attitude toward everything, then nothing's going to bring me joy ever.
Right.
Or the likelihood of joy coming into my life will be like, oh, joy is overrated.
So you have a positive attitude about life. Why are you not experiencing joy?
I'm getting by. I'm getting by right now. Things they're not totally terrible for me, but I would have wanted myself to be further along the line, and I find that some people are resisting me or giving me a lot of grief. And I can poo-poo it and say, hey, that's just them, and I'm going to be joyful. But I would rather the joy come from being in that place, wherever it is, reminding myself that I've been through other situations that I thought I would never get out of, but when I look back, I go, I've gotten out of XYZ, ABCs, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm just going through a momentary moment of either depression or negative thought, but I don't stay there for very long. Would I like to experience joy at its utmost? Absolutely. When I was married to my wife, I thought I had hit the lottery. I experienced joy beyond belief. It was amazing. And then that went away. So my joy was taken away. And that's the other thing, is that joy isn't permanent. But I think it's more about where your heart is, where your attitude, how you respond to things will gradually give you all kinds of joy. And joy comes in different flavors or in different measurements. So, and there are people who fake themselves into being joy. Like they just say, everything is beautiful, the world is wonderful, I'm going to always do good, I'm going to give to charities, I'm going to do this and that and the other. And they're fooling themselves because they're not really experiencing joy. Like the woman who has a baby, who's been looking forward to having a baby. That's an example of pure joy. Getting married to your soulmate, that's joy. But trying to force joy, then you're shortchanging yourself. And the likelihood of you experiencing real joy, you're really never going to know it. So I say, go along with life. Let it take its course. But say to yourself, okay, where am I now? is what's happening true? Is there something I need to do? Is there something I not need to do? Because you don't always have to respond, but I think your attitude toward how you respond to a situation will eventually give you the level of joy that you're looking for.
Right.
Attitude is, and I'm still learning that. I am no guru or maestro or anything when it comes to joy. I wish I could experience it more, but I also need to be careful with where I go, what I do, who I talk to, because I can undermine my own joy coming to myself.
How so?
By associating with people that I thought were my friends or friendly to me or whatever, and when there was a need, I thought Joe and John and Billy and Sarah would come to my assistance, and when they didn't, it was like, whoa, wait a minute. This is a mind blower, because here I am thinking, you're my friends, I would do anything for you guys, but yet you're not there for me. Mm-hmm. So I have to choose my friends a little bit better. I have to choose my next partner. Mm-hmm. I'm single for a reason, because I haven't learned my lesson from dedicating my life to a woman who walked out on me, or actually I walked out on her.
Yeah.
But I can't rush into anything, and I think that can be a mistake to postpone joy, because relationships are precious. Relationships are important, and depending upon what you want to get out of it. Now, if two people just want to have a one-night stand and walk away from each other, that's their business. Mm-hmm. They weren't looking for joy; they were just looking for sex, and sometimes that's all and maybe that's their joy. Right, but is it for me? That's not. There's no joy in that. There's no real joy.
That's manufactured.
It's manufactured.
I like to differentiate between happiness and joy. And happiness is like, oh, this is the best beer I've ever had.
Yeah.
You know, oh, look at the sunset.
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
And happiness is great, but it's kind of like eating Twinkies.
Yeah.
You know, it's a. Okay, do you feel full afterwards? No. You know, you really need the full on, whatever.
And I think that's,
And joy is something I don't even think, personally, I don't think anybody can give you. No. And that's what I'm learning is that in relationships, that's been my shift. I'm gonna stop.
It's not. Oh no.
Oh, okay, we'll keep going.
No, you can keep going.
Okay, so I learned that no one's gonna bring you joy. They can bring you happiness, like, oh, look at that, you made me bake me a cake. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
But no one can do it. You have to create it yourself, and you can be joyful in it. Like I look at Sean now, and I look at him, and I go, I am joyful, and oh, look at this. You know what I mean? But this is me. I could walk away. He could disappear, and I still, maybe I'm not going to feel like, but I still have this joy in me that I believe, and maybe it's not always going to be happy, but it's this constant. It's a presence.
Absolutely.
And I was looking for it in other people.
Right.
I was looking for it in Sue. I was looking for it in Shanna. I was looking for it in you. I was looking for it in everybody. Mm-hmm. And like, oh, hey, you're gonna, you know. Mm-hmm. And finally, I had to let go, and just go. Oh, this is it. No, I only have me. Ultimately, even though we're all connected, we're also all alone.
Yeah.
You know.
But you can either be all alone, in the sense that when you fall, there's no safety net.
Right.
So,
right.
But you can feel that you're alone, because you alone can make the decision about what's going to happen next. But you know that I will be there for you. Yeah. Shan will be there for. Sue will be there for, and whoever else is on your list.
Right.
You know now.
Right.
Who's going to be there for you.
Right.
So, and I say that to make a point that. Joy comes from you. It's a response. Yeah. I went to Webster's Dictionary today, paper version.
Nice. Well, you did your research and everything. I'm honored.
Yeah. So here, joy, the definition of joy, Merriam-Webster's Dictionary, 1957. I'm kidding. A feeling of great pleasure and happiness.
Uh-huh.
See, so happiness is in there.
Yeah.
Joy doesn't stay. It's not a staying factor, because what's going to happen is that you know that you're happy in your situation.
Right.
The joy comes from when the next event happens. You know, the next moment you and Sean are walking on the beach, and all of a sudden you both remember a date in Wisconsin, you know, that was similar to where you are now, and a shooting star went over, and you both remember it, and you both look into each other's eyes. You're not only going to be happy, you're going to have joy.
Right.
You're going to have ecstasy, even.
Right.
You know, you're going to have an orgasm, possibly. You know, I mean, that's how intense, you know, having joy can be.
Right. But I'll tell you something, is that scenario, that's not where joy is for me. Being with somebody on a beach and
I was using that as an example.
Yeah, joy for me is being with myself. It's being present, and you know that even if there was nobody, you know, nothing's permanent.
Yeah.
Nothing's permanent. I could be like, there could be an apocalypse and I could be the only one. But you know what? I would still find joy. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
You know, because look at this. You know, this little cockroach is going to feed me because it's the apocalypse.
and you're exactly right, because I've had moments of joy when I'm at home and on my shelf is a video CD of Led Zeppelin's History, and I've had it for years. It was given to me as a gift, and I never cracked it open. So then I say to myself, tonight's the night. I go out and I get me a bottle of wine. I make sure that the phone's off. I plug that CD in. I'm drinking my wine, and I'm rocking out, and I'm experiencing joy. As you know, it's one of my favorite bands, one of your favorite bands too. And you know that musical experience doesn't have to be someone physical. You know, it can be a piece of cake. It can be a cockroach. It can be. But
to me, that's you. That's not Led Zeppelin. I mean, Led Zeppelin is the external
conduit.
object, the conduit.
Yes.
But it's you. Hey, all right, I will see you.
You know how to
We'll talk.
get hold of me, right?
Yeah, I do. All right, see you later.
You might have to remind her.
You know who that is, right?
No.
That's Eric. He was at my party. He's the one who
Eric?
gave the pot bags.
Oh, I don't remember him seeing him there.
Yeah, he came in real quick and left.
Oh, okay. I do remember seeing his backside leave. Yes.
He's the one that I was sitting there going, oh my God, he's the devil. I think he's a devil. He's trying to squelch my joy.
No, he was trying to bring you joy. It was just too much for you.
Yeah. I think manufactured joy is a little different than just like.
Well, it depends. If you know it's coming,
You're in the right
environment. Yeah, exactly.
It's all in the right frame of mind. And again, that's coming from you.
Yeah.
I was not in that right place, you know.
No, but you were in a joyful place because you were experiencing joy because you were having a great time at the party.
Exactly.
You were,
and you know what?
And you were high without having to, insert it.
Right. But you know what though? So that I was suffering, you know, if the opposite. So, you know, I'm sitting there and I'm all shaking and I'm like, you know, just I can't even move because I'm just so overwhelmed by the sensory input from what was going on, and you know, I'm feeling waves of nausea and all this stuff. But even in that, there was something in, and I was struggling to stay stable. Okay, and I'm like, when is this going to end? I kept saying, you know, Sean, this isn't going to last forever, right? You know, I'm not going to be like this for eternity, and you know, I mean, this is what it felt like at the time.
I've been there.
Yeah, and so I'm going through this, but there was something in me that was just like. You know, it was almost like I felt like I had angels around me, going, "Yep, you got to do this." Yeah, they were almost like, you know, you throw up and someone's holding your hair. You know, it's like, "Yep, hun, you know what, hun? You got to go through this. This is kind of your penance, like kind of like a loving parent." Yep, sorry, hun, you got to go through this. Yep, just keep going. Yeah, and kind of like holding their arms crossed and just like, yep. You know, and then I threw up and I came back and I was like. Oh, you know, and the angels just went, hello. They just smiled, and it was gorgeous. It was, and you know what? For days for weeks, I still learned so many lessons. Like my mind kept going back to that when I couldn't focus. I do my meditation. I pride myself in my focusing and everything like that. And I couldn't focus during that time. I couldn't breathe properly. I couldn't do anything. And my mind after that kept going back to that, like, oh, I learned this, and all the lessons, like there were just lessons flooded my mind afterwards. So it wasn't joy, but it was something. Those angels.
It was a good feeling.
Well, no.
It was a revelation. I feel
like there's the whole thing with yin and yang is like, so you got the yin and yang, you got the suffering and the joy and everything like that. In Taoism, so it's always spinning, right? You can't even see it. It's just a word. The two of them are interchanging constantly, right? Mm-hmm. But really, we are here in yin and yang. We're never here. We're never here. We're never left, right, black, dark. We're here. And that's what I was feeling. And to me, and I know our beliefs are different, but to me, that's where God is right here. God is looking down on the spinning and seeing it. And if we can look down on it, and that, so there was a piece of me, or a piece of something external, I don't know if it was me or not, that was watching me hurling into the bucket, and and was just, it was the parent or the loving, guiding one going, this is what you needed to do to get through this. This was hard. You needed to, it was like, so to me, I think there's something, and this is what I'm trying to figure out, is that there's something beyond the circle.
There is.
Yeah.
There is, and every philosophy, every guru, every religion has their reasoning for it, and I can only tell you mine and what's worked for me, and what I realized I need to stick to this because it's helped me in those times of need, in those times of darkness, in those times of uncertainty. And God the Father says that I will never leave you nor forsake you. So what that means to me, no matter how much I screw up, no matter how bad I am, no matter what happens, I'm not going to intentionally say, well, I'm going to put God to the test, or a child putting the parent to a test, because that's what kids will do eventually, is say, you don't know what you're talking about. And they're only 12 years old. And they're telling you what to do. But you know, as a older person, that they don't know what they're talking about. And boy, are they going to hurt when they start attempting certain things. So that scripture has, I've embedded it into me because I need to remind myself that I've got something higher than me, bigger than me, that is going to comfort me once I throw up. Exactly. Once I do the naughty. Once I whatever.
It's going to be there no matter what.
It's going to be there no matter what.
And there's forgiveness, right? That's the forgiveness.
And that's a forgiveness thing, because, and that's another thing that God says, I will always forgive you. There's no sin or action that you could do to separate my love for you. There's nothing. And those are assurances for me. I can't. You could tell me, Audie, I will love you till the cows come home, or I will never let you down. Well, guess what? You might. You might let me down. You might not be there when I need you. But God is all-encompassing. And that, to me, is money in the bank. And that's what's helped me in my time of need, my time of desperation. Because I really don't want to be let down again. I don't want my heart to be broken again. I don't want. It might. Those things might happen, but at least I know I've got a safety net. I've got the ultimate safety net. See, but in the spiritual realm, that safety net might mean I lose my life. And you know what? And that's okay. Because I have an understanding of. Sure, I want to live as long as I can and I want to be well, and I want to be happy, and I want to serve God, and I want to, feed mouths, and I want to help struggling families. But guess what? I might not. So if I were to die tomorrow, or if something were to happen to me tomorrow, I would tell all of my friends, well, the ones who know me for a while already know that when I die, there's going to be a party. It's not going to be a funeral. There's going to be a party. There's going to be a celebration of my life. And those who don't know me are going to learn it. They're going to learn that this is not a sad time. Yes, I might not be around anymore. Yes, I won't be there to, touch your hair or give you a hug or a kiss on the cheek. But I'm going to leave you with memories. I'm going to leave you with memories that you're going to feel like I'm still around, but not physically. But you won't forget me. You won't forget me. And I used to think that I had to be a crowd pleaser. I am so over that. I want to just be me, be with people who respond to me,
Right.
people who give me the space to be me.
Yeah.
I give the respect to others to be who they are, so we could see how we mesh together.
Right.
You know, it's kind of like an orchestra.
Right.
You know, there's the violin section, there's the horn section, there's the drums, and if everybody wanted to be violins, then we wouldn't have an orchestra.
Right.
But when you kind of get the people who go, you know what, I can complement your violin playing,
Right.
and then the guy who wants to play the drums says, well, guess what, I can complement the violins and the horn section.
Yeah.
And then you get a conductor who goes, and he sees the magic,
Yeah.
and then they go to rehearsal, and they fuck up. And they fuck up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they fuck up. So it's up to each individual to just do their part
Right.
and watch the conductor.
Right. Oh.
Watch the conductor. Keep your eyes on the conductor, because he's keeping his eye on everybody. He knows what the score looks like. He knows who has to do when they have to do it.
Oh, I love this metaphor. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Did you just come up with that?
Sort of, kind of.
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you.
That's good. So we've all got to do our, and that's the thing is we each have an aspect, and that's what I'm realizing is like I feel bad, like, well, you know, I don't feed the hungry. You know, I'm not going to homeless shelters and like, oh, I would like, you know, there's these people I would like, and there's people on the street that I see and I walk past them. I don't have any cash on me. I walk past them. That's not my thing. You know, and so my job from now on is to find out what is my thing. You know, what instrument am I playing?
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
And I know that my writing is my instrument.
Right.
And I know that my listening is my instrument.
Yes.
And those, you know, and my job is to play those as well as I can.
That's
I'm
it.
Just learning
That's
this
it.
now is to do those as well as I can, and then let you do, you know, whatever you need to do, and Shannon do whatever. All of us are doing whatever we need to do, and also we make beautiful music.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you can apply that same example to a sport.
Yeah.
You know, like a baseball team.
Right.
There's a 9 guys versus 9 guys
Right.
that if everybody wanted to be the pitcher,
Right.
you don't have a team.
No, right.
So everybody has their skill, and either you come to the table going, I know what my skill is,
Right.
or I'm just so good I don't know what I want to do.
Right, exactly.
And then you have to have, that's when you get your yin and yang, you get a guru involved, you get a psychiatrist involved, and you get all these people.
You fly to Maui.
You fly to Maui, and then eventually you find out you're supposed to be the water boy.
Yeah.
And you go, that's not what I was hoping for.
But then when you get to that point, you get to the point where you humble yourself and go, yes, the water boy.
If you can get to that point, because most people can't.
Yeah.
You know.
But why is the water boy bad? They would all get dehydrated. They'd all faint.
Exactly.
There's not just the water boy.
Listen, I think I told you the story, but I'll just tell you. Hopefully, you're still recording.
Yeah.
Before I graduated college, I interned at MTV the first year.
Right.
They were starting their whole MTV 24-hour music stuff, and it was awesome to be a college student in this place, getting credit and seeing all of these celebrities, all of the bands that I grew up with, to be a part of history. And I worked with the vice president and the program director, and you know, in the studio and outside the studio. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And I even had to write a paper and you know, whatever. So I was graduating the next year, and I told the folks, that everyone that I had interacted with, that, hey, I'm going to be graduating from college, and do you think there might be a position for me? And they said, no problem, don't worry, just let us know when you're ready, and we'll work something out. So fast forward, graduate, go over to MTV. I think I'm going to be in the studio, you know, escorting all the talent like I did as an intern.
Yeah.
And they say to me, the only job we have is a front desk secretary. I was like, say what?
The water boy.
The water boy. I said, what happened to all the positions? Well, you've heard of nepotism?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was nepotism to the max in that place. Unbelievable. And I was upset. I was depressed. I was like, I need a job. So I took the job.
Right.
I was the first male, back then, receptionist gatekeeper at MTV, which now I wear very proudly on my chest. But what happened was a turn of events. Nobody could get through that front door without going through me. I got all of the celebrities, all of the vice presidents, all of the important muckety mucks had to go through me.
Right.
And I had to get to know them. I had to check them in. I had to get their phone numbers. So I was creating a catalog of information and contacts and things. And then one day, a producer of Nickelodeon show, was having a meeting with the vice president of MTV. And this woman says to me, "What are you doing here?" And I look up at her, not knowing what to say. I didn't know how to respond, but I wound up saying, "I'm waiting for you." And she says, "Do you know who I am?" And I said, "No, does that matter?" And she said to me, "Good answer. Can you have your resume on my desk tomorrow morning at 9?" I said, "Yeah, but you got to tell me who you are." So it wound up that she was one of the main producers of a TV show called Livewire, which was a Phil Donahue show for kids. And they were in their 9th or 10th year. And I said to myself, "This is gonna, I'm set for life."
Right.
She hired me on the spot.
Yeah.
And I was working as I had 2 jobs actually. I could multitask and didn't realize it.
Yeah.
I was the assistant to the music director who was responsible for getting all the talent on the show. People from REM, Frank Zappa, Man of War, all of these bands or these talent that either they were established or were coming of age. And I got to meet them all. My other job was to get from the legal department the contracts for the bands or the talent to sign, book their limousines and their hotel rooms. So I was entrenched. Oh man, I was entrenched. And it was like a 14, 18-hour day job sometimes. But I loved every minute of it. I was single. I was not tied down to anything. I was open to the beginning of my career.
Right.
And even though the show got canceled after that, and we're going, wait a minute, they've won whatever the awards were at the time. Let's call them Emmy Awards. They had a wall full of Emmys, and then they canceled the show. The entire staff was like going, what the fuck is this all about? And I'm going, so it was like back to square one.
Right.
It was, hi, can I have one more? Sauvignon Blanc.
Okay.
Thank you.
I got it.
Take your time. Hurry up.
All right, we're good.
So then I was in Joy.
Yeah.
And then I went down to
that's the circle of, not the circle of life, but that's the experience. We as humans being on this planet. Now, if we're an angel, we're not experiencing it like that. But as humans on Earth, we do this thing, and like you're saying, it's like this and then everything is. It's like the stock market. It goes up and down and up and down, and if you know how to watch it, if you become the person above, standing above it all, you have this ability to and that's the whole thing about like Buddhism. That I'm not Buddhist, but it's what interests me.
You're following certain aspects of the good stuff.
Yeah. So Buddhism, they call it being the witness, and that's the whole point of meditation in Buddhism.
Yes.
Is to be aware of it all, to see the circus in your mind, but not be in it.
Right.
And I think in some traditions, religious traditions, that's God. That's God is.
No. You're right, because there's in Christianity that they call people like me a witness. You'll hear the phrase. You'll hear the phrase. Can I have a witness?
Yeah.
And the witnesses were the original witnesses were the disciples that hung around with Christ, because they got to see in 3 years firsthand that, oh my God. And then Jesus says, I gotta go. I'm gonna leave you guys. So, in the meantime, take everything I've taught you, and they all went brain dead. They were like, no, you're the man. And he goes, yes, I am the man, but I'm gonna give you all a chance to be the man.
Right.
A tax collector, a lawyer, an accountant, a tent maker, a fisherman, all average Joes. Jesus is saying to him, do as I instructed you, even though the outcome ain't going to be what you'd like. But you do this, and when your time is up here, when you get there, you will want for nothing.
Yeah.
You will be covered. You would hit the $1 billion lottery 100,000 times. That's what it's going to be like.
So here's my question about Christianity. This is probably the one thing that I'm like, I just don't get it.
Don't ask me.
So
or Tova.
Yeah. So what's the point of existing here if you're always going like this? Well, just you wait, just have faith, hold on, and you'll be good up there. It's like you're living for the future. To me, I learned be here now. Be here now, now.
And you're supposed to be here now. You're supposed to be here now.
And then, what's the point?
It's the prize.
Why can't you have the prize here?
You can have the prize here.
I have the prize every freaking day.
It's the satisfaction of what you experience in your life. That's your prize. And as you know, your kids don't always make you happy. Sean doesn't always make you happy. Your friends don't always make you happy.
Right.
So you're going to go, where's the prize? Well, you're not going to get the prize because you have a problem, and the problem has to be resolved before you feel the joy.
Right.
And then you go, okay, fine. Up in heaven, that's the eternal prize.
Right.
Forever and ever and ever and ever and ever.
So boring.
It does. Sounds
so boring.
But guess what? You'll be serving God in a different capacity, but now you've got the assurance that it's not going to be the drudgery that you experience here. I know it does sound boring at first, but when you read the last book of the Bible, which is called Revelation, it'll tell you briefly what heaven, what you're going to experience.
See, I would much rather.
And you can stay here. You can.
I will.
No. You don't have a choice in that, though. See, when you die, you can't say to myself, "Well, even though I'm dead, I'm going to reincarnate as an ant." No, you can't do that.
No,
you can't do that.
I want to go through life and help people. I want to stay here. I don't want to be like,
no,
here, and you guys are down here.
It's not going to be that wonderful.
Yeah.
You're going to have some challenges up there because God's going to reward you according to what you learned here. This is just a training ground. Yeah. This is the temporary place between heaven and earth.
Right.
So right now, this is where you show God how whatever you call your God or your lessons or your memes or your scriptures.
Don't do memes.
No, I know, but I'm saying just saying in general.
That's bullshit stuff.
I know, but some of them are pretty cool. Some of them are actually spot on.
Yeah.
Do unto others as others, do to you.
Yeah.
If not, I'll kick your ass. But those are meant to be fun.
Yeah.
But again, the way I see why we're here is. She better have mine. In the beginning, I didn't understand why I was here, and the moon, the stars, the earth. It was just there. It was all there. And then as you get curious, as you get older, things happen in your life that go, why? So you find something that resonates with you, and let's just call it Buddhism right now. Hey, I've heard some guy, saying all these Buddhist, little limericks or whatever you want to call them, and they sound so spot on. Thank you, my dear. How are you feeling?
Doing good, thank you.
Good. So I got a hold of something that resonated with me because I fought my own religion for a long time. I gave up my own religion for a number of years. I started exploring other religions and other philosophies and other gurus, and when I settled on Christianity, I saw that what was in that book, the Old Testament and the New Testament, that all the gurus, except for the Buddhists, and all the philosophies and all the religions were borrowing stuff from that book and calling it their own. And I'm going, wait a minute.
Jews weren't. They wrote it first.
They wrote it first, but they don't even ascribe to it. Those are all just stories.
Yeah.
You see,
yeah.
and that's where, and I'm not going to say that they're wrong, but they're big into stories. They're big into the, the coming of the Messiah. There was a guy in New York City who ran the biggest Jewish congregation in the universe. Every Jew in New York swore that this was the Messiah.
Yeah.
When he died, the graveyard was filled with all of these Jews from around the world waiting for the third day, because in their scripture,
Right.
on the third day he will rise from the dead.
Yeah.
They're all there going, Third day came, nothing. Oh, it's too early. On the same third day later on in the day, nothing. He'll be coming out soon. And it went on for a week and then 2 weeks. So I forget Smirnoff. I called him Schmenky as a joke. Because it was like, how foolish could these people be?